the Board of Selectmen that small amount. So yay, we're glad about that. Local masks and test kits. Wait, where's my agenda? Here it is. I'm going to go right to the senior center renovation. So the ARPA funds were approved as the budget went through on May 16th. So did the ARPA funds in our capital budget request, which means that the $275,000 is now available for that HVAC project, and we can move forward. That's the good news. The not as good news is we are going to have the selectmen are going to approve a vendor for asbestos abatement, and I believe their meeting is Wednesday night. Brad Parsons got 3 bids. 2 out of the 3 bids, the vendor is currently working on school, able to begin remediation until the fall, but the 3rd vendor can start next week if approved. We'll hope that they move forward with the vendor in looking at the time constraints on us. We were really excited at the pre-bid meeting last week. Susan attended, Christy was there, and Tony Genovese. We had 22 vendors come in for the. We'll wait till the 15th for any questions on that bid to come in. 22nd, questions will be answered, and on the 22nd, hopefully we'll have some competitive bids. We're really excited that there were so many and that they all saw. Hopefully they're looking for this work and they're looking to come in with some good bids. I think if there are no questions on the timeline, as soon as we get the bids, and then we'll hope that the selectmen can vote on this potentially, and we won't have to wait until mid-July for selection of a contractor. I'm going to keep moving unless I hear otherwise. So the volunteer appreciation event was last week, and it was truly lovely. The weather held off. The volunteers were there. We were able to recognize the achievement of 3 of our commission members, Pat, Kathy, and Susan. And it was a truly lovely event, and the staff worked really hard, and I really appreciated everybody. It was all hands on for a lovely event. And I'm just gonna, my report's a little out of order from the agenda, so I want to make sure I stay in line here. For the Living Treasure event, we've set a date with Beth's calendar for September 29th, and we're hoping that the committee will come together and meet very soon. And we're also hopeful that all of you will consider where you shop and you know what businesses you're in, and that you may either purchase ads for your businesses in the ad book, or ask your local businesses for donations of gift cards. We'd love that. And last of all, we'd like you to put the date on your calendar so that, you know, volunteering that night. We've had a wonderful bartender in B. Pat Madden. We just love that he was so good at that job, and celebrity servers, and Susan, you know, orchestrated all the celebrity servers, and we really do need your help. So consider putting the date on your calendar and coming. I hope that'll be a really fun night. And you know, obviously with the FF&E from renovation, with not a lot of money left in it, we are going to need to raise some funds so we can, you know, buy furniture for the new renovated senior center. And on the resident assistance fund, we found that our response time was lagging, especially with the gas company and electric company. If somebody was in crisis situation and was without fuel, we can work very closely with local fuel providers, and they will fill a tank without waiting for payment. They'll just go ahead on our say so. But with Southern Connecticut Gas Company, that just doesn't work. So what we've done, it was really a group effort. We came up with some ideas. Tony didn't like our ideas, so he came up with another idea. And now we've submitted POs for all these companies, taking a week out of the response time. And all we have to do is put in a check request and have the finance office put a rush on it, and we can respond in a day or two, probably two, and that's a lot better for our residents in need. And lastly, the center building renovation committee I attended. Dwight is the chair of that committee with Andy Esposito and Chief Capiello and Paul Kirikos from the Board of Selectmen serving. I went last week to that meeting, and they have a document from 2012, which was a space needs assessment done professionally for the police department. And although I find the document outdated, I do not question the need for the police department to have updated space. They, like all of us in the center building, are in need of really bringing it into the 21st century. You know, we are really outdated. It's not a very efficient building. The spaces are antiquated, and it doesn't really serve us well. So in that, we all have agreement that the whole building should be in this project. I've talked to Tony Genovese, and he agrees that a space needs assessment for human services and the police that's more updated would benefit this project. So I'm hopeful that the committee can review and figure out a company to come in and provide that professional assistance, because although we know how we might expand over the next 5 years, it would really take professionals to know what kind of square footage we expect. I'm sorry, someone just sat on the couch with me and I'm moving. Bear with me. We're sharing a space here. I took off my mask to be more clear, but I don't want to, sit with children and others right now unmasked. So that's about it. Are there questions?
I'm surveying and I don't see any, but does anybody have a question for Jeanette?
Yeah.
I would add, stay tuned. It's just the beginning of this committee, and it's very exciting, and the work is going to be tremendous asset to the town. And it's really important for both of these departments to have some input about how the space in the center building is best used. So we're really excited in that, and I look forward to Dwight's leadership on that. I can't say more now, and I'm like surrounded by people. So I'm going to excuse myself from the meeting and catch up when I watch it on YouTube later when I get back. Thank you.
Have a wonderful time.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Jeanette. There were no questions, so I need a motion to accept Jeanette's human
I'll
service.
make a motion to accept Jeanette's report.
Okay, and
I'll-
a second. Okay. Will be a roll call vote. Janet,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Alex,
I approve.
Arnie,
Yes.
Viviana,
I approve.
Pat,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Kathy, and myself, yes. Okay. Next item on the agenda is, Nancy, would you give us the youth services report, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'll start with programming. And we've received food donations from the middle school. They did, during Awareness Week, their last day was a construction day where kids brought in items to donate, canned food, and then they each class built structures out of those canned goods, and they had a contest to see whose structure was the best, and then those kids will have a special snack. And then I was able to go with the driver and pick up all of the canned goods. So we have a conference room table full of canned goods right now, and we'll get a student or two in there to sort food. So very nice. It's great week, the Awareness Week, but to have the kids then at the end of the week donate the food to the food pantries is really special. And they're really thinking a lot about those in need. So it's so nice to see. Our after-school guided study program continues. I did give a call to Katie McCullum. She called me back, but I was in the middle of a training. I tried to call her back for an update. So I know they're in the process at Beecher Rose School of completing the after-school guided study program. Depending on the health of children at Beecher, we will go ahead probably with a little pizza party, and we can fund that out of youth services. So that will spend all of the enhancement grant budget. Job Bank is getting busier. Of course, we need weeders, and we're still trying to get some kids. I've taken in a few to Job Bank this month, and I spoke to Town Hall today, to Tony Belinsky at the front desk, because I'm really thinking some of our kids need some training on how to weed, how to communicate better, even though we discussed some of that in, a lot of it, really, how to communicate with people. There are some kids who are, they have some special needs, and some kids don't communicate as well. Some have not been trained. Some want to make money and they want to be involved. They just don't know how to weed, and they don't know how to plant, and they haven't done it at home. So I'm really thinking we would like to do some kind of little training, maybe get someone from the garden club, or get a little plot that might be available at the community gardens. I don't want to take union labor away from anyone and do weeding that might be done otherwise, but I really feel like there are some kids who really need it. And I have gone to the extent of hiring some kids myself just to make sure they know how to do it. But I really think that it would be helpful. So we're going to go ahead and try to plan something that could be a training for our kids, and maybe we'll get some volunteers to do that with our kids. It's just that we have to consider where they are, the location. It has to be a public place, and it, hopefully it would be on town property somewhere. So we'll see how that can go. Any ideas, send them my way, because I'm really, I really want to move ahead with that. I think we'd get more kids doing the work if they're better trained. Absolutely. But we are keeping up with most of the jobs. I'm hoping for a few more babysitting jobs, because we really haven't taken many over the last 2 years with COVID. And right now, mostly I'm getting weeding. I have one babysitting job open right now, and watering gardens now that it's getting warm out. So plans. So Sarah Pearson, our program coordinator, she doesn't work for a good part of the summer because her hours don't allow for that. She's not budgeted for that. So she will be completing some of her work next week. We will be meeting with Paula Cofrancesco and Bethany, discussing our budget and how to plan for programming and see what the interests are of the people in Bethany and how they want their money spent as well. We did a survey, so Sarah's collecting the survey results from the kids at the middle school to see what type of programming they're interested in. But interestingly enough, a lot of kids said they wanted cooking. Then when we tried to do an after-school program, the kids didn't sign up. So it could just be timing, got to find the right time of year. I don't know. But there is a difference between what they say they'll do and what they actually do. So we have a yearbook signing coming up. PTSO runs the yearbook signing with the middle school. They have a day on the 14th where they go outside, usually in the courtyard. They bring their yearbooks, they sign each other's yearbooks, and then we provide the ice cream for that day. Sometimes I go up and help hand it out, but it is a nice day, and the kids just, they have an opportunity to just kind of relax a little bit before they finish school. The kickball tournament is something we started many years ago for the last day of school, because the kids go into school. There's really not much to do, if anything. And, they might go in and clean up a little bit. But other than that, there's not much to do. And they do get out this year. The dismissal time is at 9:40 on the last day. So they'll come outside. They'll have a little kickball tournament. I'll set up a table and I'll provide popsicles, snacks, and some water for the kids right, on their last day, right before they go home. So it's kind of a fun last day, and they get to see their friends before they leave. We are planning a Red Cross babysitter training. Anna, who's our instructor, wasn't able to do it in April, so we will plan something, and I'm working on that with her over the summer, probably early to mid-August. And I usually collaborate with the recreation department on a program at camp over the summer. Actually, we used to do 2 programs. So there's a new person there who's doing programming, and I'm working with her. I'm looking into Harlem Wizards, because every other year that we've had Harlem Wizards, they just do such a great program. They have a basketball player come out and he towers over these little kids, and he makes it so much fun. And, he's got the ball going, and then they try to pass it, and the counselors get involved, and it's just really fun, and it gets all the kids laughing, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm working with them to try to get a date for that. Probably the 3rd week of July, that would be. And the end of the year, we are helping to fund the 8th grade graduation party, which is at Racebrook Country Club. So we help the PTSO provide funding for that. So it helps pay for the DJ, and they have a photo booth, and they buy things for the kids and just make it a really nice evening. And it's kind of a little more of a semi-formal affair for the kids. They like to get dressed up and have some fun. We did end of year party at the middle school, and we did it outdoors. We had a nice evening on May 13th. We had a 7th and 8th grade party. And I can honestly say this year, probably because of COVID and we haven't had those kids together before, we had lots and lots of kids, both from 7th and 8th grade. And usually by this time of year, 8th graders aren't interested in attending something with 7th grade, but they sure did this year. We had Big Daddy's racetrack out there. He came and he opened up this big truck. So he parked it on the back lot at the school, and he has the lights going, and he announces the races, and the kids they just love it. They stand there and they have steering wheels. There's about 6 or 7 steering wheels, and they bump into each other on the track, but it's a lot of fun. And we bought a cornhole, so we had cornhole outside. We did Twister, and the kids played everything we had. They played. We had a DJ, kids were dancing, doing line dances. And it was just a great night. We brought chalk. They did chalk up the old wooden picnic table. I don't think they had any problems with that. And they chalked up the ground, and it was a lot of fun. The kids had a great time. So I'm looking forward to our 7th grade picnic, which we're planning for August 24th. And what else? I think that's it. So the plans are coming along for 7th grade picnic. We are working on a DJ, because the one we've been using, who's about half the price of the others, cannot do that night. He is a teacher, and it's the week before school starts, so he probably has some things to do of his own. But we are looking at some other DJs to see. It will be more expensive, and we will also have an inflatable that evening. Probably the Hippo Chow Down, which is through Party People. And it's like, I don't know if you remember the old Hungry Hungry Hippos game. So it looks like that, but it's inflatable on a large scale, and the kids are bungeed, and they try to put the balls in the middle and try to get that while they're held by the bungee cord behind them. So it's a lot of fun, and it's fun to watch too, which is always good. Try to keep more kids busy that way. And then lastly, we have I'll just go over the First Selectman's Youth Award, which if you were in attendance, Ava Shanbrom is the person who won the First Selectman's Youth Award, and she received it at the volunteer recognition ceremony last week. And she was really quite impressed, and I've already gotten, thank you emails from, her mother. Scott Zimmerman from People's Bank came and presented the check, and he was always so sweet. He actually took time to meet with her beforehand to find out a little bit more about her, and he did a nice presentation. And of course the senators were there to do their citations, and Beth did a wonderful job. She presented a Woodbridge citation and a plaque, and then of course she received a $200 check. So all in all, it was nice to see. Nice way to end our year. Any questions from anyone?
Lots happening. Lots happening, Nancy.
That's busy here.
Congratulations.
Hmm.
If there are no questions, okay, I need a motion to accept Nancy's youth services report.
I'll make that motion.
Arnie, okay, and a second,
It's Jen.
Second it.
I'll make the next.
Jen, okay, okay. Again, roll call vote. Janet,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Arnie,
Yes.
Viviana,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Kathy, and myself, yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And moving rapidly through our agenda here. The Woodbridge Center report. Christy, would you please give us the report?
Sure. Masks are continuing to be required for all in-person programming at the center and in the other locations that we're using. On May 11th, we had the Senior Center Social, and we celebrated the Older American Month with an outdoor social. Coachman provided muffins. Carmine's Restaurant gave 2 $25 gift certificates for bingo prizes, and Elam Park gave $25 for other bingo prizes. We had games set up and coffee and tea, and unfortunately only 2 people showed up. A lot of people had signed up to come, and it just, everything seemed to come together to not be a good day for everybody, for our seniors that day to attend, unfortunately. So we'll save the prizes and we'll use them for something else in the future. On May 11th, we had our last Wadsworth Museum's virtual art tour in the series on Impressionists, and that went very well. The AAA Driver Improvement Program, we were able to have in the Center Building gym, since we now have Wi-Fi in the gym, which is huge. It just really broadens the scope of what we can offer to our clients, and we can offer a lot of programs now as hybrid programs on Zoom and in person, especially our exercise programs. Our Armchair Adventure series of the national parks is going very well. And in May, we had the Glacier National Park that we explored, and participants played a lot of games of National Park bingo with prizes, and they all had a lot of fun. The next one is on June 10th, and that will be on the Grand Canyon. We received our pickleball nets for outside, and they're set up. They're being very well used, and they're very appreciated by the pickleball players. Lots of positive feedback for that. And then today we started the first Tai Chi Quan Moving for Better Balance class, the first of the 24-week program. We've maxed out registration with 15, and we had 15 that attended today, which was really good. We had a lot of positive feedback after the class. Bill Bienix, the instructor, and it just went really well. Our next drive-through lunch will be the Father's Day drive-through lunch on June 16th, and that's being co-sponsored by Elam Park. No, not Elam Park. I apologize. I misspoke. By Coachman Square and Amity Physical Therapy. And then on June 17th, we will have a joint replacement presentation by Kyle Branday of Amity Physical Therapy, and he's going to go over how to prepare for knee and hip replacement surgery to shorten the recovery time and to decrease complications, as well as if you've already had a replacement, how to get the most out of that replacement joint. The lifestyle change programs also going very well. It's now being offered with a rolling start date, so anyone can join at any time, and they'll be able to continue for the 26-week course. As Monitor My Health is planning to receive additional funding so that we can support that extension, or they can support the extension. And also they're including 6 private consultations with a registered dietitian. So that's a really good program. It has the lecture, it has the 45-minute weekly fitness program, with Laura, and then now it has the registered dietitian as part of it also. And then as far as staffing and volunteers, Mike Quick, our new transportation driver, started driving independently, and he's doing very well. He's an excellent fit for the position. We've gotten lots of positive feedback from our clients that he's driven. He's a fast learner and just has really just done wonderful. Dwight had asked last time what the pay rate is, and it's $17.04 for that position. And Jenna Anafria is the meal program volunteer that started last month, and she's doing very well and has already been a big help for getting the meal program to work more efficiently with using the volunteers, or the volunteer, Janet. And as far as grants, we officially heard back after last month, me saying I'm not going to report on it anymore. We officially heard back that we didn't receive the funding for the ARPA grant that we applied for in January. But there will be a training session on what Agency on Aging looks for when they give out the funding, so we can be more specific to hopefully be awarded the funding in the future. And then just for an update on the transportation pilot program, as far as the social visits that we discussed last month, we haven't transported any clients as yet for social visits at this time. We have 2 that are scheduled for this month, and they're both with the same client, and they're both within Woodbridge. It's worth noting that I thought of after the meeting last month that most of our vehicles that we acquire through grants, and to account for the funding, we have to file reports for those grants and regularly. And within the reports, we have to submit how many rides we've used the vehicles for, as well as the categories that those rides fit under. And that includes medical, shopping, and social. We use the social already for things like hair appointments, or there's a couple clients that have gone to like JCC for things. So if you see the social visits on the stat page, and I think there's 4 for this month, just so there's not confusion as to what that's used for. But justifying the funding with these reports helps to secure future grants when the vans need replacing. So we just wanted to mention that. And that's all. Any questions?
No, it sounds busy.
Yep.
Pat, you have a question? Yes.
Yeah. Christy, would you consider the vans well utilized, underutilized, middle of the road?
So the last 2 years, they've been very underutilized because of COVID. We haven't been taking more than one household in a vehicle at a time. Before that, they were used to go to lunch bunch or on trips, local trips and those sort of things. So it's kind of hard to say right now. But I think they were well utilized. They probably could have been utilized more, which that was before I was the senior center director. But in my prior position, Jeanette and I had discussed, elaborating on it and going to local trips instead of using like different companies that people would sign up for to go on trips.
Right.
We were going to possibly go throughout Connecticut and go to museums and other places using the buses. So.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
Sure.
Any other questions? Christy, again, a lot is happening. Despite all I always say that numbers are great and we are providing service, even though it's very challenging on many fronts. Okay, I will need a motion to accept Christie's Senior Center report.
I'll make a motion.
Viviana, okay, and a second.
Second,
Pat, okay. Janet,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Arnie,
Yes.
Viviana,
Yes.
Pat,
yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Okay. Another unanimous. Doesn't seem possible. We may be setting a record here. We have received all of our reports. No one appears to have any questions. We have nothing under old business. New business would be that our next meeting is August 1st. There is no meeting in July. The commission never meets in July, so the next meeting will be August 1st. And if there is no other business to come before this august body, then I'll need a motion to adjourn. It seems very fast and everything, but as long as everyone's happy. Okay, and
I'll make a
Um,
motion
just-
to
Just
adjourn.
one question. Do we know whether we will be meeting via Zoom or in person yet? Is that to be determined at some point?
it's to be determined, but we could take a moment and just ask all of you how you feel. What is your preference? The one thing that's positive about Zooming is that if people are in vacation in different places, it's possible to all gather together. So, Arnie, do you have a feeling about
Well, it's certainly more convenient.
it
I
is?
mean, I finished dinner about 3 minutes before the meeting started.
Mhm.
But there's something, a higher quality about meeting in person, I think, as long as it's safe. So I just sort of brought it up to see if, what we might anticipate.
I would say that since it's always a changing landscape, that I think it would be to be determined. Christy, what are your feelings about that? Is that what you,
I think it's dependent on
what the numbers?
everyone else feels. I'm fine either way. Of course, it depends what's going to happen we just don't know. It seems it's still going up and down.
Right.
But I personally am okay either way, and whatever the majority decides is.
When I said changing landscape, I'm also referring to the numbers. It's hard to project what it's going to be like in August. So I think we will say to be determined. Any other?
My feeling is to be on the side of caution at this point in time, anyway.
Yes,
My 2 cents.
yes. I
I agree.
good.
I agree.
It's good to hear what everybody has to say.
I think to leave it as a Zoom meeting unless there's a big change.
That's a
Yeah.
good idea.
That's
And plus, you know what, too, Susan, it's summertime and it might be easier to do a Zoom meeting than actually go in person.
right. Oh, and I did think we were going to be Zooming. So, I just wanted to get a sense of what you all thought of. Okay. Also, before we do adjourn, if there are no other questions, I just did want to give a shout out to Viviana, who takes fabulous minutes, and we are so lucky, really, really lucky. And we thank you for doing it. And she's been doing it for a while. So
Thank you.
not every
Thank you.
commission has an attorney taking their minutes.
Thank you.
So anyhow, guess I need a motion to adjourn. And
So
it's nice
moved.
seeing everybody's face tonight, everybody present. So, Pat, did you say so moved?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Janet,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Alex, Alex? Arnie?
Yes.
Yes, okay, Arnie,
Yes.
Viviana,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes,
Lauren,
Yes.
Kathy, and myself. Yes, and have a wonderful rest of June and July, and we'll see each other again in August.
good luck to the building committee.
Yes.
Okay, we'll keep you all up to date on things,
Uh,
okay?
Thank
Stay
you.
well.
Okay.
Thank you.
bye,
Have a
everybody.
good summer, everybody.
Yep, you too.